Hello, welcome everybody to the bi-weekly Sandbox stream. If you're joining us for the first time, I am Alex, and today we are joined by somebody new for the stream. Well, not really new, you've been in the chat before. The Vision X, otherwise known as Joseph. He is one of our awesome moderators on Discord, and he also works with helping with various things in our community. So welcome, Joseph.
Oh, hello. How are you?
I'm doing good. So last time, if you were here, you might have noticed we had a lot of questions, and I was having trouble keeping up with it and showing you guys stuff on screen. So Joseph is here to help with all of that. And you'll also notice we've got some extra stuff going on the screen here. Joseph is doing an awesome little land giveaway on Twitter. So be sure to check that out when you get a chance. Go follow him on Twitter. And let's look at what the rules for that are. So Joseph's, what do you need to do here? You need to pitch an idea for your land, right?
Yes. So the idea here is that this is my personal land. This is not Sandbox official land. And I wanted to see what people could do. So if you have an idea about the Sandbox, whether it's concept art, something you've produced in Vox Edit, something that you have fully fleshed out in the Game Maker, but you're waiting to push it live, send it to me at this tweet, and I'm going to go ahead and link that tweet in the various chat groups here from all of our streams. If you could send me that idea to this tweet tonight, we will be giving this away right at the end of the Binance IEO lottery ticket entry period.
Awesome.
So that's roughly 8 hours from now.
Okay, so yeah, get on that, people. You got plenty of time to let them know for free land. So hi everybody. Hi Disarend, Spectors, Assassin Z, RXLG, MKT5. There's a lot of letter names. WoW Crypto, Vav Forik, Solo Gamer, Nana Kotaishi, Dissurrender. It's free real estate. It is free real estate. So yes, Joseph is being super generous, giving away some free real estate. And what do you have to be named Bob to get it? That's the rule, right? Is it Bob?
Yeah, something like that. Bob, we out of baby eats a boy, I think is.
And so yeah, as you ask questions in the chat, Joseph is going to help me out by answering some questions. He may type to you, he may answer you directly, or he may grab my attention for the chat, so that way I can answer the question if it's something I need to talk about. This way we can just get through more content each stream and not go quite so long. So yeah, as Joseph mentioned, there's the Binance IEO going on, so be sure to check that out, because that is tomorrow, August 13th, depending on what time zone you're in. You said 8 hours, so so that is happening very, very soon. We're gonna go ahead and paste that link in the chat here, so check that out if you are able to get involved in that. That's a great way to get in on the Sand token ahead of everybody else. Also going on, just opened up the Vox Edit weekly contest. It's like every other week, bi-weekly. The theme is Under the Sea. I don't think there's any entries yet. I think people are still working. Let's see if there's anybody who showed up. Nothing yet. So contest is wide open. Check that out. And we can go ahead and paste that in the chat also. So you got to make something in Vox Edit, take a animated GIF. There's instructions in the forum about how to enter and the proper way to submit your artwork. And the top 3 people who get the most votes each get a land. So that is exciting also. And that's about it for news. There's lots of exciting stuff going on in the background. We can't always talk about all of it, and we're always excited to tell you when more things are going on. So let's go ahead and open up the Game Maker, since we had started looking at version 0.2 last week, and we did get to play through the level, but we didn't really break down what was going on in the level. And I should probably exit Photoshop. That would be a good idea. Get rid of that. No need for that. And while we're waiting for that to start up, let's get the giveaway going. So this is the giveaway for a sand fountain NFT that we give away almost every time we stream. I've only got a few of them left. I think I've got about 8 left now, something like that. I do want to keep one for myself since I made them. Hi, Voxidator. Welcome back. And let's get the demo started up here. So yeah, you have to be on the Sandbox Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/thesandboxgame, and type !fountain in the chat to enter that giveaway. We've only got one person who's done that. So, 2. There we go. So at the end of the show, I'll be announcing the winner for that. All right. So who wants a quick replay of the level, just to remind us what's going on here? I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So we've got we see the opening preview here, which is a new feature in 0.2, and this timer objective we mentioned last time will actually will end the game, so we can do the other things first. And this demo really is something that comes with the Game Maker, so if you have access to the Game Maker, you can try this out as one of the templates, and it will kind of teach you how to set up objectives. So we've got a couple different encounters. So we've got collecting items, which you can do by either there's different ways to get a collection counter, but you can walk over things to touch them, you can interact with them, you can attack them, and then we can hit enter to kind of complete that quest. And we can talk to this person and do a different kind, which spawns some skeletons. You can see I didn't have the asset downloaded at first. We've got the new combat mechanics, which include dodge rolling and apparently standing in the corner if you've been a bad skeleton, and new combo attacks. And also lots of new sound effects. All right, so we got our 2 skeletons gone. We can do another kind of quest, which is answering questions, which I know that sounds kind of boring at first, but you can do all sorts of different story-based quests like this. This one, he simply asks you a question, which I already know the answer because I was paying attention, but if you tell him 5, then you don't die. If you said the wrong answer, basically the whole room blows up and the game's over. And then we've got a more adventure quest kind of mechanic. So, whoop, our skeletons didn't load correctly. Probably it's the same model as the ones that spawned, so there must have been some issue with the way they spawned. Well, I don't think we can actually complete this quest now, so we'll see what happens when you lose a quest, because I can't actually fight the captain there, but I can point out a mechanic here. So we've got the healing totems, which have the nice graphics here. We can pick up a key, cool sound effect. We can open the gate with the key, and then you'll see that this gate opens up automatically just because I'm present. Oh, well, those skeletons are there. Huh, that must have been a different model. That was interesting. So we can't beat the boss up there to complete the quest, but we can do something else that will make us win the game before we lose it. We can win the game by talking to this guy and standing on this little pad, and it will set off a timer to open this gate. And then if we get to the mushroom before we run out of time, we win. So there we go, victory. We did not lose because we couldn't beat the captain, although we did not complete those objectives there. So let's...
Yeah, so when you're in that larger room, the only reason why that came up, if I was to guess, was because of the version change between the two.
Huh. Yeah, they don't even show up in here, which is kind of funny. So we might actually have to like recreate the quest because there's no skeleton here. Yeah. Interesting. So I think there was a like a minor update. I might be on a slightly older version from last week. So when we're dealing with alpha software like this, it updates very quickly, and if you are not paying attention to every single email, you might miss the daily download. Right before 0.2 came up, I was literally getting a version every single day. And sometimes I would just, if I didn't have time to like get to it that day, I just would like skip to the next one, because at that point my feedback would not be as valuable. So hi Chimbastian. Hi, hello, viewer from somewhere in Eurasia. Is it Ukrainian? I don't know.
I think it's Ukrainian. We had an AMA earlier this week in the Ukraine.
Oh, that would make sense.
It was nice.
It's all Cyrillic to me. So, so let's do a little breakdown of what's going on with the assets here. So, you can see that there's these ghost assets, which who's this? I didn't know that was there. Activate skeleton.
I think that's your skeleton that was in the wall.
Well, I think that offsets that might be some sort of trigger there. So I didn't actually notice that guy there before. I may have misunderstood how that quest starts, but let's start with our person asking the questions here. So we had the question behavior before in 0.1, which was pretty straightforward. You can set the name of the speaker, and that's the little tag above the text box that announces who you're talking to. So you can kind of, if you're doing something like an RPG, you can advance the plot by naming your characters, and you can declare who's saying what to who. Now, when we do different answers here, if we edit the logic, we can actually set different messages that get broadcasted to set off certain triggers when people select what they want. So if we go with answer 2, the collect counter, that's going to send off message O for objective 1A1. Now you can name it whatever you want. That's just what the person who put this level together chose to keep organized. So we go over to our rules, and we've got our objectives here. Now it's this menu should be a little bit condensed in the future. Right now, as you add more objectives, it gets kind of long and a lot to scroll through. So they're working on ways to kind of shrink that down, so that way it's not quite so overwhelming. But if we go down, we can find this line defines the beginning of the next message. And we see that the message to launch is O1A2, which is what we would select for collect counter. And that is how you activate the quest. So you could accidentally make a quest that you could beat before you've activated the quest, and then you wouldn't be able to beat it because you already accomplished the thing. So in the case of the mushrooms, if we had the door open and the mushrooms already spawned and you collected them and then you started the quest, it might not trigger correctly that you completed the quest. So you want to be careful to have your objectives be completable after you start the quest, and make sure you don't accidentally allow a player to complete the quest and not get their objective. So let's see. You get the title, kill the skeletons, and the description, find and kill the skeletons. So that's what you saw up in the upper right-hand corner with the objective display. Then we've got a few different types of objectives. So you can see we've got counter, asset death, timer, and wait for message. So this demo has examples of all of the different kinds of objectives. So the asset death was like the skeletons where you're fighting them. The timer was the where you run to the end and grab the mushroom. Wait for a message. I think several use that, but specifically the talking to the hermit to not blow up the room. You say the right answer, it displays that message. And we'll go through each of those, but we're starting with counter. And counter... Whoop. I started talking about the wrong one. We want to talk about O1A1. Going in order. That's, why I did it that way. Talking about the mushrooms. So we're collecting the mushrooms, we're doing the counter, and collected objects is the counter type. So you can do deaths or collected objects. So anything with the tag mushroom on it, when we collect it, will achieve that goal. So you could do multiple types of mushrooms, and they would all have a mushroom tag. If you had a game where you wanted to, well, just like throw out a silly idea, like a trick-or-treating game where you go to houses and collect candy, you could make all sorts of different types of assets of candy. You could have chocolate bars, you could have lollipops, you could have whatever, and they would just all have the same tag of candy, which would achieve your counter goal. So you can add tags to anything. You could put a mushroom tag on a skeleton if you wanted to. Like this is a way for the game to count those types of objects, whatever you declare them to be. So assets might by default get a tag. So something with the avatar behavior, or as soon as you set an asset to be the avatar, it will get the avatar tag, but you can manually assign tags down at the bottom. Whoops, that was not what I meant to click on. We're going to fix that later. I did not mean to click on the X there and delete that. But down here at the bottom of any object you click on, there's a little part where you can add tags. So things that are interactable. This isn't just a way to do objectives. You can also find things by their tags. If you open up their object hierarchy, you can search for things by tags. You can search by rarity and behaviors. There's lots of different like uses for tags, but they're kind of like a more abstract concept. So we won't get too much more into that right now. So let's go back to our objectives here. We can set any amount we want. Obviously, we want to spawn the correct number of mushrooms. Something if you didn't want to make exact spawns for everything, you can make an asset spawner that will add a tag to the asset it spawns. So instead of having 5 mushrooms appear instantly for the quest, you could have the mushrooms grow over time. In the case of the skeletons, you could have like a nest or a crypt or something where the skeletons come out, and as they spawn, they would have the tag that you need to beat that quest. So you don't have to make all the objects ahead of time to have that tag for the objective. That's something that you can spawn as you have the game run. Drunken Fist has a very specific question. we're anxiously waiting. And then our completion mode says when you complete the objective, what happens. So we can send a message, which is the way some of these objectives trigger other objectives to start. So you can have quests chain off of each other, one after the other. You can end the game either in victory or loss. You can wait for input, which is when you hit the enter, when it says that your objective is done. You can make it so that way the player can like delay the end of the game that way. Oh, Drunken Fist has a long question.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna stop talking. I'm gonna read this question for a second. I'm gonna keep on talking by reading it out loud. So let's say I wanted to build a game called 7 Up, 7 Down for one or maybe more of my plots. This would be a gambling game with percentages to the house. Will that be allowed? That is a good question. So there's in the background here with the staff, there's still talks going on about exactly what place gambling will have in the sandbox and what's going to be allowed for monetization and who can participate. So the thing that we have to be careful about is in some countries, specifically the United States, which is a big part of our market, gambling for minors is not allowed. And a big part of our demographic is kids, because we're trying to get this into schools for educational purposes. Kids love games like Roblox and Minecraft, which is kind of the style we're going with here. So those are two. That's kind of like a big conflict of what is allowed. So we need some sort of system in place to make sure that things are legally friendly and the game does not get banned from the U.S. marketplace, or face like legal action and fines. But that we're also able to keep with the market that we've been going for, which is kids in education. So we realize that there's going to be kids and adults playing and getting involved in building stuff. Most of our programs don't have an age limit. If you want to try to apply for the Creator Fund, you can be a minor if you want to apply for the Creator Fund. We've got at least 1 or 2 teenagers in there who have, and we've got plenty more who have applied. So it's not fully fleshed out yet, but we have some ideas of how we can keep this a safe environment for kids where we're not promoting things like or not getting into dangerous waters legally or have issues with gambling addictions. We want to make sure everybody's protected and informed and safe. And then we also understand that there's a big market for people who are interested in making gambling games and casinos and loot related things. So yeah, it's a very good question, and I don't have like a solid answer. Maybe did you have something?
Yeah, I do have something on that because I've been I've been listening to all of the AMAs with Sebastian from all across the world this week as they've happened in multiple countries, and this question comes up in every single country because everyone's quite interested in it, right? Casino games are some of the most fun games that you can play, and he does not outright say that it's not possible, but to the point of the U.S. at least, even institutions like Chuck E. Cheese, Dave and Buster's, they have to report as gambling agents in order to be allowed to be open, even though they're only giving away little kids' toys and you're playing, whatever, Pong essentially all day. They do have to report that. So if it's something, that as an investment, you would assume they're interested in being sure that it's possible. But for now, until you can get those kind of age gates,
Did I lose you?
2 years from, can you hear me now?
Oh, yep. Yeah, just cut out for a second.
Yeah.
I got you now.
Oh, okay. So the 2 years from now, by the time we get to the level 3 logic in the time frames that are laid out on the white paper, that's it'll be kind of open ended. So hopefully that solution has already presented itself before people can inject any kind of code that they want. But it's a little bit out on the timeline.
Yeah, that's where the sandbox kind of lines up in a kind of unique position that right now there's very limited features, so there's really no like because people can't like publish their games yet, we don't really have to worry about it at this moment. And then as those features roll in, there will be ways to kind of control that, but much later on all the logic is going to open wide open, so people are going to be able to build really anything they want, but we do have to operate within what's legal and what's safe and what's ethical.
Right.
And yeah, somebody mentioned segregation based on age, and that's the idea that I've had, and I think some other people have talked about that. So that's we can only do so much about people self-reporting their own age. So there's probably going to have to be some sort of guidelines for like parental guidance, and you need to have your parents' permission to play that. I remember that from my childhood. Like, make sure you get your parents' permission to go online, to go to like Lego.com or something like that.
Right.
I always thought that was kind of funny. It's like, they buy me Legos. Why would they not want me on Lego.com? But
yeah.
So yeah,
it's in a fun extension of that kind of level 3 logic. I had a question come through on the Telegram channel. I think it was yesterday, maybe the day before. Somebody asked if it was possible to make what's essentially a movie theater inside the game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not a feature that's there now, but when you get into level 3 logic, it's possible to
Mm-hmm.
have, you know, this video feed could be injected on a virtual screen where you could watch Twitch in Twitch, or your YouTube inside your sandbox land.
I'm
So
excited to have a multiplayer land where people are watching this stream in the game. I think that would be
yes,
super
yes,
cool.
yes, super fun to have those kind of meta engagements in there. So it's a ways off still, but the future is essentially limitless.
Voxidator asks if it will have the ability to monetize inside the game on first release. I believe so. I'm not sure. I know multiplayer is one of the essential ones that for general release of the player and publishing of lands on the metaverse map, multiplayer is going to be in there. That's like a tier one, has to be in place to even make using the map make sense. It would be having multiplayer enabled. The monetization, I'm not sure how quickly that's coming into play. There's already ways to monetize as far as creator interactions. So there's already people who are being hired as artists by landowners and developers. I see it happening a little bit on our Discord, for the official Sandbox Discord, and a little bit in the Sandland Discord, the first unofficial community that's meta community for the Sandbox. So there are artists and creators and developers and landowners who are all collaborating to make experiences. So there's an aspect of monetization where renting and paying for services is already becoming a thing. As far as in the game, whether you're going to be able to exchange sand or not, I believe that's a top priority for release, but I haven't had that confirmed by anybody, so I don't know if you've heard anything, Joseph, or if Seb's mentioned anything and asked me anything.
I haven't heard anything that Seb has said aloud for release dates on different versions. I can see some of those things, but I don't know what's out of NDA right now. So
right, yeah, that's always we've always got to be careful. Like, what can we say right now? So
the amount of work that they're doing on the back end is astounding.
Yeah,
like seeing the technicals of making multiplayer work and that kind of thing. Like they're clearly going to put in the work so that feature set is there. It just doesn't happen, within the next 2 months, I don't know, whenever
right. That is I would say that's a tier 1 essential. Like, that is part of the whole point of the Sandbox is giving players the ability to what was it, pay for play, or or not
it was
play
to earn was the
play to earn. Thank you. I got pay
back
stuck in my
account.
head. Yeah, play to earn is an essential, like, the Sandbox wants that to be a thing, and that's already being built into the concept. So the gems and catalysts that are part of minting assets to put them in games is those are gained through playing the game. So that's going to be the way to earn those, to mint your assets and get rarities on them. So play to earn is a huge essential part of it. Whether it's going to be in that first release publicly, that's the part that I don't know, and when I do know, I might not be able to say. So as soon as I can say, I will say when that's coming out, because I know everybody's really excited for that. So
and the best way to find out that information is to pay close attention to the announcements that you see on the Discord or the Telegram channels when it says that Seb is live, because frankly he puts out a lot of information accidentally all the time. Right? And like, I have a lot of fun personally because I'll be watching that and I'm like, really interesting. Does that mean I can talk about that now?
Oh yeah, when he I didn't know that we could talk about that William Santa Cruz and I were working on Shaun the Sheeplands. We haven't shown anything for it yet, but we're working on it, and I can say that because Seb announced it. So
see, there you go. That's what I'm talking about. So if you're not already like kind of watching that, take a look at the Telegram chats and the
Yeah.
Discord chats for the announcement section specifically, because they're going to tell you when he goes live in,
Yeah.
in the Ukraine or something, and you may be watching it and he's saying it, speaking in English and getting a translation, and then you get that little bit of insider information
Right.
maybe
Yeah.
you were looking for.
You never know what magical golden little hidden secrets Seb's gonna reveal to you. It's pretty fun.
So earlier on, Alex, you were talking about people looking for additional artists, and if you don't mind, I posted
Oh, yeah.
a link to Twitter for a status, because I'd like for people to kind of see why the demand for artists is going to be there. I took a screenshot the other day from a game maker that showed the difference between a single land space and a 3x3 small estate land space.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, wow.
the size of a small estate is massive.
Yeah.
Like, I was surprised to see the size of a small estate was
Yeah.
as large as it is. Circled on the image in the lower left of each of those is the avatar size.
Yeah.
And you can see a 1x1 land is already massive, but then you get the 3x3 estate. So
Yeah.
I saw that somebody came through in our Discord after the last land sale that had purchased a 12x12 estate, and they were searching for people to help them design.
Yeah.
And it's like, you don't just need an artist, right? You need an army of artists.
Yeah.
You need a creative director at that point.
Right.
It's astounding how big and immersive these worlds are going to be when they're all finally done.
I mean, that's really why. So I have the images up on the chat. So what all of you watching you've only ever seen me in a 1x1 land. So some of you have watched many times before. Some of you are here for the first time. But what my computer can handle in the Game Maker right now is while streaming is basically just a 1x1 land. When I'm not streaming, I can do a bit more, but when we're in this 1x1 land, we get a lot of cool stuff done in this. If you were watching a couple weeks ago, we did the Sandland chain maker, which had I think 15 people working on it, and there was a whole crazy quest that we went through, going all up and down all across the map, and there's a lot of vertical space in this that it's taller than it is wide, so there's a lot that you can do in this space. And then you multiply that by 9 for for a 3x3, and it's enormous. I mean, when you start looking at this, you're thinking like, this is an entire city right here, and then you multiply this by it's 3x3 to 12x12, so by 4 on each side. 12x12 is 144 lands.
Right.
So, think of the most complex thing that I've shown on stream and multiply that by 144.
Right.
And you've got a AAA size game like, Grand Theft Auto or Skyrim or, all these open world games. That's you're getting close to that scale, and that's just a 12x12. And there's I always forget the number. What is it? 166,000?
166,300 plus total.
Yeah.
1x1 lands out there.
Like all of that. It's huge. So we've got over 2,000 landowners now. And that's immense for, think 2,000 games. And it's not even just 2,000 games, because most of those landowners own more than one plot of land, and they're not necessarily connected. So
even
you've
in
got
the screenshot that I have here, right down there, the land giveaway that we're doing is, I've got 3x3 estates that touch each other with adjacencies. So imagine that giant piece you've got on the screen, long times 3, and then I'm trying to fill that with just thinking to myself as an individual buyer, it's, how am I going to make something awesome that's that big,
Right.
And I see in the chat over here, there was a question, shooter game. And right now, it doesn't appear that ranged kind of attacks are enabled in the game.
Not yet.
In the Game Maker. However, as soon as they are, it's really all about your art, right? Like, because an arrow can be designed to be the size of a bullet if it was going to be a shooter. And, so the possibilities are endless, and I'm super excited about it.
Ranged mechanics should be coming soon, and yeah, once you get those basic mechanics down, I mean, from the very first ads I saw for the Sandbox, they talked about casinos, putting those in. They talked about Battle Royale. And when you've got 64 players concurrent on a single instance of a state, a game map, you've got a 64 player Battle Royale in one instance, and you can have multiple instances running. I mean, yeah. And yes, Walkbot, it's this is a giveaway. So go follow the Vision X on Twitter. That's Joseph here with us on
Yes.
audio. So
Yeah, and the only rule there you can see is that I'd like to see what you're going to make on it, because that land that's highlighted there in yellow is touching my land, and I want to be good neighbors making great things together. So that's the goal. It's not an official Sandbox outing. It's just Joe to you. I will pay the gas fee for the transfer as well. So you can enjoy the land.
There's no risk
No
in
risk.
applying for this. Unless you say something dumb, I guess. but as long as give your best idea, and you can get a land, and then you can collaborate with Joseph on making it. So
the final giveaway for that is about 8 hours, 7-8 hours from now, when the Binance IEO lottery ends.
Yep. All right. So all of that conversation out of the way, let's get back to the game maker here. So we mostly went through how these objectives work. So you've got a message that has to be sent to activate the quest, or a message to launch the objective is really the way it would be said. You've got all your information you can say about it, your title and your description, and then the type of objective, in this case a counter of collecting objects, and any object that has that tag, and you can add any tag to any object. In this case, we're spawning 5 mushrooms as soon as the objective starts, and when it's completed, it will let you clear the message, and it sends out this message, which I'm actually not sure what that goes to. A1 end. As far as I know, that doesn't do anything, because you wait for input, then send message, and I don't remember. I didn't see anything that got triggered by that. So I did not make this level. This is me picking it apart and explaining to you what's going on. So when we activate the collect counter, the door opens and we collect all of these. Nothing really happens afterwards, but we could have something happen. So we can press enter to validate, which is what sends that message out and ends that objective. So what we could do is we could have something happen with that. So let's we could turn this into an asset spawner. Let's see, asset spawner, and we'll have it spawn some coins in the sky for us. Ooh, it froze up for a second. There we go. So we're going to pick an asset. And I think it's actually a shield. Yep. That looks like a coin, like a giant coin. We don't want any behavior on it. It's not going to do anything. We can say we don't need health on it. But we could add a loot component. Oh, sorry, not a loot component. The loot component is one of the new ones, so you can make enemies drop loot when they die. So those skeletons that spawn over here, well, I don't know if you wouldn't really be able to set it on one that's spawning quite yet. I don't think it's that advanced yet, but on any character that you have, we can make these characters have health, and we could attack them, and we could have them drop loot when they die. So we don't want that for this, though. We want pick Why am I not seeing it? Let's see. I'm just trying to see what the mushroom has because you pick it up. Collectible component. Did I not see that? Sometimes my eyes skip over things when I'm trying to look for them on the fly. So we want here we go. Collectible. There it is. So we've got the golden treasure shield, no behavior. Doesn't need any tags, doesn't need any messages. We're not gonna do anything fancy with it. We'll just be able to pick it up off the ground when it lands. The physics, we want collisions plus gravity. And we're gonna have them spawn up in the sky and fall a little bit. So the funny thing with these is that they're going to all fall exactly the same way. So what you can do, coming back to Chuck E. Cheese, we can make an invisible, you know those games where you would put a coin in it and it would like launch it and you try to knock the coins down?
Yes.
Well, we're going to make, and there was always like something pushing them around to like give a randomized chance of successfully knocking something over. So what we're going to do is we're going to make an object that is going to knock them around so they don't all fall perfectly evenly. But first we need to find the offset. So we want which direction is that? Y? I think it's Z back and Y up. Yep. Sometimes I have to remind myself. So let's put that back down on the ground. So we want it like Y, I think probably like 40. I think would be good. About 10 meters above. So this is the offset though. So this isn't a global, this is local to this position. So we're putting it 10 meters above the sand fountain.
Oh, very nice.
And a spawn delay of 0.5. That way they're coming out pretty regularly. Actually, no, if we make them, if we do it that fast, well, let's see what happens at that fast because it might actually be pretty funny. Let's go back. Now, if you spawn things too quickly and they have collision, they'll spawn inside of each other and then they'll go flying because, oh, okay, that's not too bad. They're just stacking up. And you can see the kind of funny way this asset does actually have animation, although it's not, you can't see the animation right now. So animated assets have collective bounding boxes, so you can actually see the bounding box on this. That's
awesome.
So let's but we have to tell it to only spawn after it gets the message. So let's find the message here. Fort Boyard. Is that like a treasury or something? I'm not familiar with that reference. Let's see. So this is the end message for that quest. And this is going to wait for that message. Message required. It needs to sense that message to start. And I believe it should keep going after it starts, but we can assign other triggers to persistently have it go. Let's go back. So we should spawn the mushrooms. And you can see that the coins are not falling down yet. We collect our mushrooms. And oh, yeah, we have to press enter to validate because it only sends the message after we press enter. So we press enter, and there comes our one measly coin. Okay, so I was worried it might do that. So it only sends the message once, and then it stops sending the message. So we only get the one out of it. But what we can do is we can grab any old random object. It does not matter specifically. And we can tell it to be a message broadcaster, and it's going to send the message that this one was supposed to get. So we're going to take that out. Cut. And we'll say, we'll just say coins is the message. So when this hears coins, it will send out a coin. And this one is going to be a message broadcaster. And It doesn't have to be visible. It doesn't have to have collision. We can turn that off. So we'll set visibility to false. It's going to send coins. And we could specify the broadcast range. It doesn't really matter because this is the only one that's going to be receiving it. And we are going to wait for the message. We'll put in a short delay. Broadcast only on is false. So what that means is that if it was set to true, it's only going to send the on message, and it's going to send it just once. And that's not what we want. We want it to turn off and on repeatedly. So when this gets... wait, where's my... It's waiting for a message. Why didn't the... oh, there it is. Was that not there before, or was I just missing it? I didn't see it there before. So it's waiting for this message, and then it's going to turn off and on repeatedly, and we'll actually set that to 0.25. So that way it'll keep on turning on at the same rate that this can spawn. And let's see how that works. So we open up our door, we grab our mushrooms. And I missed it. I missed it again. Wow, my aim is bad today. And now we hit enter. Oh, womp womp. That did not work. Let's see. Did I miss something here? Message broadcaster. Message to send is coins. Broadcast target all. Wait for message true. Message broadcast only on. Set to false. Well, that's not working as I expected it to. So I may need to troubleshoot that a little bit.
Well, you know, the core things that I've noticed so far from the asset spawner and with the asset spawner having health, I'm seeing that essentially already in the game maker, you could recreate a game like Gauntlet pretty easily.
Yes, yeah. We already have what we'd call dens. There is the deer den and wolf den. There's another one. I made a deer den, a wolf den, and a boar den. The boar den is not in the game maker. I don't know why it's not. But you can spawn assets out of these, and you could make it so you could wreck them. So
Sure.
Let's say we're going to asset spawn. You know what? For this, I just realized we probably want the behavior switcher, because we can turn on. We'll mess with that later. First, I'll show you. So we can have it spawn. We'll have it spawn wolves. Singular wolf. Ground predator. And so this would have health, where you can attack that, or you can attack the wolves. And let's see. Spawn offset. We want it to spawn more in front, which I believe is this side. So we would say like -5. I think that's me guessing. And we'll do a spawn delay of like 10 seconds because we don't want it to be like overwhelming. And then we could add components to the wolves. We could, if they have the ground predator behavior, we might actually have to add the health component, because then we would make invincible wolves, which would probably be a bad idea. And collisions for the physics. Okay, and then we've got health on the actual spawner, and we're taking off the messages, so it does not require a message to spawn every 10 seconds. All right. So, okay, the wolves are spawning in the back. I got my directions reversed, but we can... Oh. No, mistakes were made. This one saw me before the other one, and his animation got stuck, but And he's after me again. Oh, no, that's a new one. Okay, so this is where you have to damage that before any more spawn. And
yeah.
so you'd probably want to set the health on that higher. That was easier than fighting the wolves, but there we go. Ta-da!
Yeah.
So yeah, you can definitely do that.
Spawn rate, then maybe the low health den is okay.
Yeah, if you wanted to do there's I can't, none of them are coming to mind. I've played so many games. But things where I don't know, like Zerglings or something, where you've got like a whole ton of something spawning out and you've got a swarm. I mean, you'd want to be careful because as a developer, you have to keep in mind that people have different computer specs, and you would end up possibly having you would want some sort of limit where you could stop. And I haven't spent enough time with the new spawning behavior to see if there's a way that I can have it sense the quantity of a tag and disable. So you could set on the wolf like an enemy tag. So you say you want max 100 enemies. You could have that tag enemy, but I'm not sure if there's something that will count it to disable the spawner when you've reached the limit. It's something that should be there at some point, and it might be there already. I haven't figured it out yet, so I'm not going to try it today. We can maybe try to look at that next Wednesday and see if that's something we can do. Sure. I saw somebody say no item drop, so let's see, item drop. Let's see. Let's add in. How are we doing on time? We're coming up on an hour, so we're gonna try to wrap things up. We had been going an hour and a half, but it's been very busy lately, so we're gonna try to keep these down to an hour. Let's see, components, add, and if I do loot. So the difficulty is that I can't edit the component right now. So it has a loot component. I don't know what they're going to drop. We will find out. So the asset spawner before, you couldn't set a lot of options like the behaviors. You couldn't set the behaviors at all for spawned objects. So it's not spawning anything when they die. So that is not something that we can do yet, but you can see that the plan is in place there for it to come into the future. So you can set that component that they'll have a loot option. We just can't edit the settings on it. So stay tuned for that. Maybe in 0.3. I don't know how soon editing the components. So like right now you can set the behavior, you can set the components, but you can't set the details of those. So it needs more stuff, but remember, we're still in alpha. We're not even in beta yet. Yep. So there's a lot more options. Real quickly, let's see if I can get that switcher to work.
All right. And as you're playing with those coin settings, I'm going to answer a question in the
chat.
Sure.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's asked, how about hardcore gamers? Some people use the advantage of bringing a pool of monsters to make them lag, and the best specs win on killing those for the loot. So I think that the best answer for that is to make sure that when you're developing your land, you're trying to do it with optimization in mind. And this is an issue that all developers run into, right? As you make a large, intricate world, and then you run it through a test, right? And as a creator, you're going to want to make sure that your world is usable first. Fun, absolutely, as your next priority, right? Because if you can't use it, it won't be fun. So if you do use asset spawners, and I asked the question of Alex, of course, we can speed it up. So you're spawning assets every quarter of a second, right? That might be good if you're in a game where you have 32 players trying to beat those waves of monsters, but would be bad for a game with, 4, because they're not going to be able to eliminate the monsters enough, and it would lag and be unfun, right? So to a certain extent, it has to do with testing, playing with things, pushing more updates, and kind of understanding how your world is being built.
Let's see if I got it to work. It got it to work. So it's even easier than the idea that I initially had. And yeah, what Joseph said was totally right. You definitely want to spend time testing. Oh, we can't pick them up though. Oh, there it goes. It didn't. Oh, because because they have physics enabled, I was kicking it before I collided with it to collect it. So you see, if I jump on them, I collect them. So that's just some like tweaking that would need to be done for the actual settings of how to collect them. Sure. But that's kind of funny. You can just like run through it.
Yeah.
And yeah, we could set a tag on those. So you could make this another objective, like collect so many coins before a timer ends, or the game will be over. You know, that's totally something that we can do. That's something that we can take a look at next week. But yeah, optimization is important. So there's a lot of optimization that's happening on the sandbox end of things for the developers making the game engine. We're trying to make it as accessible to new developers as possible, where they're not going to break things, but especially as the full ability of the code is unlocked. You're going to encounter situations where people are making games that are not playable. So that's where like the kind of like capitalism aspect of the metaverse comes into play. Is if somebody makes a game that's not fun, people aren't going to want to play it. So people as landowners and as developers, it is in their favor to learn how to build games correctly in the game maker and to optimize them as much as they can themselves, to make their game fun, so people will play it and they will earn that, you know, that in whatever monetization method they have for their game, make it worth players paying for it. So that will that's a great incentive for people to figure out the most effective way to make their game. And really, I mean, with all these coins spawning and their physics objects, I might be dropping a couple frames, but it really hasn't changed that much from the initial starting point of the game. So you can get a lot of physics objects going in here before it starts having issues. The main optimization, the two optimization issues that I've had on my computer, which is not really, you know, is not, my computer's average is what I'm saying. Sure. So the main issues that I've had is that if you have too many behaviors, so I mean the wolves destroyed their own spawner. They ate their spawner. I'm like, where'd the spawner go? They ate it. They may have been trying to attack me and accidentally attack the spawner, but they blew up their own spawner, so we don't have to worry about them anymore. So the main optimization issues that I've had are that if you've got like too many plants, like grass, and they're all sending out a message saying, "Hey, I'm a plant, come eat me. If you're a herbivore, or if you're a farmer, come collect me." If you've got a couple hundred of those, the game tends to lag a bit. And then if I try doing bigger lands, like a 2x2 or 3x3, it will not work so great for me, even in the editor. But other people who have better computers than me have been able to do it just fine. Shinjun, our guy from Korea, he's got like a 4K monitor and he can do like a 3x3 land in 4K, and I'm just like, I want your computer. So yeah, we can see we've got quite a lot of coins going on here. So yeah, I think it would actually be kind of cool to have some sort of quest activate like an end. This could be a mini game, you know, collect the drops before the timer runs out to win the game or get a high score. There's no scoring system yet, but you could with this setup do some sort of scoring system. So this is all. And this is the start of great things.
Earlier, you talked about what they call a coin pusher in the Chuck E. Cheese kind of industry, that child casino industry. But if you had set certain objectives for the environment that, as a result, open up one of those invisible keys, and the invisible key only dropped one coin, you could find a way to make a giant coin pusher in your world.
Oh yeah,
by completing objectives around the world that you're in. So there's like just coming up with these ideas is easy when it comes to what can this do? It can do all sorts of things.
If you check out my YouTube channel, I did something sort of like that already. You can see that the physics is freaking out a little bit. There's too many objects colliding now because it's just been generating this for the past 5 minutes, and I'm doing a little boot scoot and boogie. So we're gonna stop that before my GPU melts. If you check out my YouTube channel or the Sandbox YouTube channel, there's an old video demo that I did from back in 0.1 days. Might have even been before 0. It was pre-alpha before 0.1. I think it was 0.008 or something. I don't remember what it was called, but whatever. Yeah, 0.08 was what it was called. I did a video called Brimstone, and I actually showed how to do it on stream. And unfortunately, I can't open it in 0.2 Game Maker anymore. But I had all the objects pre-built, and I built a cloud with this thing that would push all these all these boulders out of the sky. So it was like a meteor shower, or like an asteroid crashing to Earth. So it was like this apocalyptic thing. Buildings got knocked over. It's really crazy. And that was way back then that I did that.
I remember that because you destroyed the regular city with that, right? The city template.
Yeah. Well, I might have actually built that city. I think I built that city from scratch. Go check out that. It's just a 30-second video clip, but search for Sandbox Brimstone or something like that on YouTube. And it's on my channel. It's on the Sandbox channel. And that's what I did back in pre-alpha. And back then, I couldn't make the blocks do damage. I couldn't spawn them. They had to be like already there, established with their physics. There was no way for me to like push them around effectively without making this crazy contraption. I actually showed how to like put it together on stream, and now all these spawners actually make that kind of like not essential anymore. Like you can do so much more with it now. So lots of exciting stuff we can do with the spawners, and doing like physics-based gameplay and changing the behaviors around. So next Wednesday, let's take a look at maybe doing some more stuff with I'll try to see if I can figure out loot drops. I don't think it's going to work with based on what we tested today, but we can do some more fun stuff with spawning and maybe do some custom objectives. And on Saturday, we are going to be looking back at the Fantasy Grasslands level with Wizzy, and trying to make some quests in there. We were talking about possibly switching transforming the squirrel back into a cat for his unfortunate pet. So let's do the giveaway. Let's see who won. Mana Burn is the winner. So Mana Burn, I will try to whisper to you through Twitch after this, and if I am not able to reach you there, you can find me on the Sandbox Discord. My name is Alex on there, so I'm pretty easy to find. Just send me a DM, and I will, or either there or on Twitter, at Kamisazi on Twitter. I should probably put that in the chat because people don't know how to spell it because it's not a real word. There we go. So that's me on Twitter. My DMs are open, so you can slide right in there and tell me your Ether wallet, and I will send you a fountain. Make sure you check out Joseph, the Vision X on Twitter, to enter the land giveaway that he's doing in about 7 hours now, I guess.
Yeah, it's pretty close.
So 7 hours as celebration for the Binance IEO. Did I say that right? IEO?
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct. Yeah. Very good.
And thank you everybody for watching. Quick question from Bram Vandermeer. Am I a developer of the Evolution Sandbox? You subbed. How to get the promo deal? So I'm not at all involved with the Sandbox Evolution. Pixel is the same development company, but I'm an artist and level designer and kind of community manager and a bunch of different things for the Sandbox 3D, which is kind of the sequel to the Sandbox Evolution. So if you have any questions about the Sandbox Evolution, they have a separate Discord. So I'm not sure. Do you have a link for that, Joseph?
I don't have that offhand.
You should, if you ask in the support chat for the regular Sandbox. There's a bunch of people there who are also involved in the Sandbox Evolution chat, and any questions for the Sandbox Evolution should go to that other Discord. So ask in the Sandbox Discord, and they'll point you to the right place. So anyway, thank you, Joseph, for helping out. And Joseph's going to be a regular returning producer, I guess, would be your title for the show. So thank you for helping out, and we will see you all on Saturday. Have a good one.
Right.